Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be covering how to build the light paladin. Now I'm not going to be covering how to build any of the other paladins because I believe that this is the best one and that you can also fuse it so it's easier to get. Now if you have any of the other paladins, I would recommend using those if you already have them. But I wouldn't sit there and try to summon any other ones because it would just be easier to fuse this one. And if you don't have the stuff to fuse it, just wait and do it later in the game. Just collect all your fusion monsters as you go. Now, the light paladin has 3 attacks, and just look at your attacks. If you're gonna make another one, then look at your attacks and make sure that you base it off of what the attack does. So, Justice Strike actually does damage according to your max HP. So for the light paladin, I would use HP. So that would be energy runes, and maybe shield or blade just to do more damage. Now, when I do this, it doesn't show the effects. So since I'm doing this in the transformology, because I don't have the light paladin, so it's not going to show, if I provoke or make my allies invincible, it won't show that. Now, you also can't see HP, so it's kind of hard to simulate it, but it kind of works. So, now we have Prayer of Protection. This is the attack. It recharges in 5 turns, removes all harmful effects on the ally, and makes the ally invincible for 1 turn. So what this does is, I use it, you see, my monster that monster that I just used that on cannot be hurt. You cannot do any damage to it at all, no matter what. It's not like shield, you can't break it. It's just invincible. So cannot die for 1 turn, and that recharges in 5 turns. So you can make a monster, it's impossible to kill that monster for 1 turn out of every 5. So 1/5 of the time that monster cannot die. So that really helps if you have a weaker monster that does a lot of damage. A lot of attack monsters have very low HP, so that's what defense monsters are good for. That's why I don't usually use defense monsters if I don't have something like this. Now you can also use Cry of Protection, which provokes all enemies for 2 turns and instantly recovers a turn, usable in 6 turns. Now I actually don't know if that's protection. That's not protection. This is provocation or something. It's a really weird word, I don't know what it says. But every 6 turns you can you can provoke every single enemy on the enemy team for 2 turns out of 6. So 1/3 of the time your entire team is safe, as long as your paladin actually has good HP. So that keeps most of your teams safe, and it's really good just to help keep your healers alive and your attackers alive and your buffers alive, because most of the other kinds of monsters don't really have much HP because they're not defenders. Defenders are very good for this, mainly provoking defenders, because things like the golem, which is very terrible on its own because it's a golem, but it's also just terrible because it can't provoke. If you have tons of defense on your golem, it doesn't matter, because even though he's gonna live, he's gonna be the last one standing, and he can't do any damage. So he's just gonna live he's just gonna survive. He's not really gonna help out, unless if you're doing Rift Dungeon and you just have that one head facing you, keeping it off your team. But that's not really as helpful either. So having something like this that can provoke is a very good idea, and it's very helpful to you and possibly your team if you're doing Rift Dungeons and it's also good for Arena and World Arena. Now you see, when I used it, you can tell it provoked. It said provoke. You can't see the effects like I said earlier above their heads, but you can tell that it did something. So if they were to attack, these are test dummies because it's transformology, so you're not actually going to see them attack and be forced to attack the one. But you get what I mean. So anyways, I think I'm going to end the video there. And if you got any value from this video, if it helped you at all, please like and subscribe. because not only does it help me out, but it helps you out and keeps you in the know. So if I post any more videos like this, like the ones on screen now, then you'll be notified. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one.